Hello, this is Greg Sierra, and this video is to show you how to do the comprehensive income case for account 302. This first slide you see in front of you, this is just like your first page of your case handout. So you'll take this and the two other sheets and put your name on this front one. You're going to end up handing in this sheet, the two answers, or if you print the answers out, the 2 pages of answers out separately. And then you'll have some financial statements, the main financial statements to attach to that. An income statement, a balance sheet, a statement of comprehensive income, separate statement of comprehensive income if there is one, and a statement of stockholders' equity. You do not need to hand in the cash flow statement. Okay, so there's a discussion here about net income, other comprehensive income, and their relationship. And let me get over here. If you're not familiar with comprehensive income, let me get this pen together. If you're not familiar with comprehensive income, it's like net income, but it's just not net income. So if you think about the retained earnings account, you have retained earnings beginning, retained earnings ending, and this is a credit balance, but it can be a credit or a debit balance. Net income, when you close it to retained earnings, would increase retained earnings. Dividends would reduce retained earnings, and if there were a net loss, that would be a reduction. Accumulated other comprehensive income, so let me write this out, accumulated other comprehensive income, accumulated other comprehensive income, is to other comprehensive income what retained earnings is to net income. So we will have AOCI beginning, AOCI ending, and if you have other comprehensive income, it increases the balance during the year, and if you have another comprehensive, and I'll also spell out loss here to be clear, it would have decreased AOCI. And just like retained earnings, AOCI can have a debit or credit balance beginning or end. All right. So why do we have this thing called other comprehensive income? Without going into all the gory details, just understand that these are things that if they hadn't gone through other comprehensive income, they would have gone through net income. The FASB has permitted this other treatment as a compromise to complaints about excess volatility in net income. So there's all kinds of rationales behind it. Regardless, you just need to know that OCI is like net income, but it's for accumulated other comprehensive income. That AOCI, these are the balance sheet measures, and OCI is the flow. And finally, that from the perspective of a flow measure, net income plus other comprehensive income is comprehensive income. Not very creative, but there you have it. Okay, so that's how this framework holds together. And let's just get to the nuts and bolts of your case. Is what I want you to come away with the case with is just an understanding that AOCI is a balance sheet, OCI is a flow measure, and how they articulate with the rest of throughout the financial statements, I should say, and then also how there's this new way of reporting where either you have to have other comprehensive income as part of one not consolidated, but one comprehensive or complete income statement, or have other comprehensive income in a separate statement of comprehensive income. Okay, so moving along, so here are these questions. This first question is just going to ask you which reporting method, all right? And if you page up here, reporting other comprehensive income, it shows you the 2 ways to comply with GAAP. And by the way, this is brand new as of 2013, fiscal year 2013. So this is new reporting. And in 2 and 3, what you're going to look for is the AOCI, last year's and this year's balance, And then number 4, you're just going to take the difference. And then number 5, we're going to look at the other statements. Oops. And we're going to find the amount in number 4. We're going to find the amount in number 4 down here. Okay. Let's skip those, but for now. And what I'm looking at, let's do an actual example with Coca-Cola, which, by the way, no Coca-Cola for you. So you can't do Coca-Cola. Do any U.S. GAAP company, just not Coca-Cola. Okay, so that means no IFRS. Okay to work with friends on the same company, but hand in your own copy. Okay, hand in your own copy. Own copy. All right. Okay, so back to the financial statements. Here's a snapshot of Coca-Cola's 2012 financial statement. So they have 2012 and 2011, and it goes, the AOCI balance goes from 2774 debit to 3385 debit. Okay. You'll also notice they have this account called reinvested earnings. This is the same as retained earnings, just a little bit of a different name. Nothing wrong with that. Happens a lot of financial statements have a little bit of a twist on a name that from one you're familiar with, even between companies, not just from what you learn in the classroom. So if we think about it for 1 second, we could look at AOCI. Started with 2774, yikes, and ended with 3385. So what does that look like if their debit increased? I'm thinking it's 611, 611, 45, 718, 7631. Yeah, there it is. So 611, which means an other comprehensive loss equal to 611. Okay. So if we're, for those of you playing along at home, what we could do right now is, if I could remember the numbers, 2774 and 3385. 2774, 3385. $611. So now we're going to look at the statement of stockholders' equity and the statement of comprehensive income, if there is one, and try to reconcile that other comprehensive income amount. All right, so here's the statement of income. So they just have an income statement. It doesn't say statement of comprehensive income. But if we look through here, you have consolidated net income, and then they have this number that's less net income attributable to non-controlling interest. This is something you're going to cover in Account 401. It has to do with consolidation. I don't want to explain it now, but we may have to deal with it. So just notice it and let's set it aside. And after you adjust for that, they have net income attributable to shareholders of Coca-Cola. Okay, so they don't have one big statement. But they do have a statement of comprehensive income. So let me stop before we get to the numbers. And now I can answer number 1. Separate comprehensive income statement. All right. So now, but I'll keep looking around. What do they have here? They have consolidated net income, and then they have, let me see, did they give me an eraser? Oh, I do have an eraser. Let me erase that thing. That's not an eraser. Let me erase that. Very good. And get my pen back. So we have net income up here. We have total comprehensive income. So you would kind of think that the sum of all these things in between might be other comprehensive income. So let me, I'm totaling those up. So take minus 182 plus 99 plus 178 plus 668. And you get a $573 loss. It's not quite there. If we have 573 and 611, which is our difference between our two balance sheet amounts, this is going to be a 38. So it's off by 38. Let's set that aside. And we'll keep going down. They have total comprehensive income. And now they have this less income attributable to non-controlling interest, 105. So we don't know what it is, but I pointed out that might be a number for adjusting. Let's go back here, 67. So for all the consolidated net income adjusted, they adjust out 67 to get net income to the shareholders. So here they have total comprehensive income, and then they're adjusting for the comprehensive income for non-controlling interest. It must be that the other comprehensive income was adjusted for in the 573. So what's the difference between 105 and 67? Oh, 38, not a coincidence. So if you're just looking at the comprehensive income statement, what you could say is you have 573 and you add 38 and you end up with a 611 loss. This is non-controlling interest adjustment. All right. Don't get hung up on it. If you get to your company and you can't quite see that, don't freak out about it. Just add these up, tell me where you got them, and then go to your statement of stockholders' equity. Sometimes you have the same problem, and here we don't. Okay, so let's get oriented. This is a statement of shareholders' equity, stockholders' equity. We're in 2012. This is just a blow up of the stockholders' equity section, giving you some details. All right. So typically you'll have a section with number of shares, and then they'll get to the stock itself. So you have the common stock at the beginning of the year, the common stock end of the year. Then you have the reinvested earnings. So here's common stock, here's reinvested earnings, here's AOCI, and here's treasury stock. We're going to learn about this in chapters 15, 16. Okay, we're going to learn about this in chapter 15. You've learned about it already in intro. And right now we're learning about AOCI because some of these AOCI components are pension. But here we have our beginning and our ending balance, the 2774 and the 3385. And here is OCI, net other comprehensive income. So if we go back here, then we can say 611, and you might note stockholders' equity, and then in the comprehensive income statement, you might note it's 573 and 38, just off the side, okay? But the main answer you have to give me is right here, 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 and here. And same. So if they aren't the same, then try to reconcile the best you can. But I'm not overly concerned about that. I will look at your financial statements and see if I can do it. If you're not picking at all the right number, that's not great. There is a little bit of a typo. This is 7, 8, and 9. So look at the statement of stockholders' equity or comprehensive income statement. Identify all the comprehensive income accounts and other comprehensive income accounts and their balances. Okay, so if we go to this comprehensive income statement, what it's talking about are all these components of OCI. Okay? So sometimes this is in the statement of stockholders' equity and not in the income statement. So we have foreign currency translation, gain, loss on derivatives, available for sale securities, and pensions, which is why we're interested in this. We're going to use it in pensions. So, oh no. I just accidentally did something with the keyboard. Let me try to escape out, and it's giving me the circle. Okay, and I'm back. And maybe I'm not back. Alrighty. For some reason I am locked up. Alrighty, let me pause this and try to get it restarted. Okay, I'm back and got everything restarted. So on number 8, I went ahead and to save us time, I went ahead and printed it out or wrote it out. There's FX is foreign currency, so foreign currency translation, derivatives, AFS is available for sale securities, and then the last component of other comprehensive income in number 8, which is actually, as I said, this is 7, 8, and 9. Is pensions, which gave us the 573, and as we explained before, the non-controlling interest related to OCI is 38, so that gives you the 611. And just to go back and look at that, so here it is, 182.99, 178, and 668 for your 573. And when you net out the 105 and 67 that you got here is the 105, and the 67 is from the income statement. That nets out non-controlling interest related to other comprehensive income. Okay. So once again, that non-controlling interest, not really our focus here. Just do your best to track it down. If it drives you crazy, email me. Or just hand in your assignment with all the other parts. Okay, 8 and 9, they're going to require you to do a little thinking, okay? I'm not going to give you the specific ratios to use, but I'm going to tell you I want 1 or 2 ratios, and then the second part, it says why or why not. You're going to have to explain, okay? And it asks you, is the amount significant, so you need a yes or a no. So say yes or no, and say at least one explanation why, and then try to pick a reasonable ratio. Now, what's the difference between these last two? One is asking about other comprehensive income. The other one is asking about accumulated. So you can think of it this way. If I were asking you a question about is the amount of net income large or small, that would be relative to what? You might think of revenue. You might compare it to ROA, how ROA is affected, or the size of ROA. The other way to think of it is if it didn't go through other comprehensive income, it would have gone through net income. So what would net income have been? How much it would have changed net income by? All right, but the main thing up in this first one is to realize that it's asking you about a flow measure. Down here, this is a balance sheet measure. And if it wouldn't have gone into accumulated other comprehensive income, that amount would have gone into retained earnings, or in Coca-Cola's case, reinvested earnings. So you could look at it in terms of total assets because it's a balance sheet, total stockholders' equity, how much retained earnings would have changed, those kind of things. And there are other types of ways of looking at it. I'm always surprised by 1 or 2 students every semester. They come up with a clever way to look at it. Just make sure that it's internally consistent. If your ratio says this is a large number, then give an explanation as to why the ratio suggests it's a large number. Okay? So I'm going to be looking at it from an internally consistent perspective, that you pick a ratio that makes sense, and then you interpret it properly. Okay? But I know for a lot of you, if you're like past students I've had, some of you, it's going to drive you crazy that there's no clear answer. It's just exactly what to do. Deal with the uncertainty, make your best choice, and move on. Okay? And that's it for this video. This is uh, due at the next class meeting on, let's see, what is that, March 4th? And I will see you then. Email me if you have any questions.